Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Free Agents podcast, back for part 4 of the Duel in our pre-agents series. So much to get into as we close out this latest season of our rewatch. Again, it's the Duel, closing it all out, talking about the last couple of episodes, the reunion, making our Mount Rushmore, talking about our season rankings, all of the things here today. So excited to get into it all. Of course, I am Matt here, as always, with Brian Scally. Scally, what's up?
Hello. I'm good. I'm excited to be here. Excited to bulldog everybody on this last podcast of the Duel. I'm doing good. Anxious for the talks that we will have at the end, but excited.
Sounds like a threat. You want to bulldog everybody?
Look, I think CT meant it as one also, so that sounds accurate.
Yeah. OCT. Lots to talk about with CT and a couple others. I think we may as well just get right into it. Of course, we've already covered a good majority of this season, but we have to get to our winners and then just kind of wrap it all up with the reunion banter and all the stuff that goes on there. Anything on your mind, though, since the last couple of episodes, or just getting into it?
No. What would be on my mind? Give me an example.
An example of what would be on your mind. So, actually, I don't know what could be on your mind because I'm starting to feel like sometimes your mind just goes all which ways, but that's just some,
You're starting to think that. Interesting.
Before the podcast, topics of conversation.
I have lots of thoughts all over the place. It doesn't mean that they're organized.
All right. Well, that's okay. At least you have the thoughts. So I'll try to keep us organized here and get the thoughts that we all want to hear. As we get into episode 15, we last left off with DM's elimination. Pretty brutal watch there as Anissa took DM out of the game. It was just really, really tough to watch. But we're going to go into episode 15, the final 4. CT's talking to Jody about what a big threat he is. He knows that, Wes and Brad aren't going to want to see him in the final. They're going to want to get him out. Jody's obviously, pretty much viewed at this point as the strongest woman left in the game. And so I think there's a little bit of camaraderie here between these two as far as like, let's see what we can do. Let's stick together and get our rightful places at the end and then hopefully go on to win.
Yeah, only like 2 days ago was CT being, very excited to remove Jody's, quote unquote partner in the game in Evan from the game, being, screaming at him like, oh, I win. Yeah, whatever. And now it is, actually, we're going to team up and take everybody out because we have lost both of our partners. No, I didn't do that to you. It was them. We need to team up. And I would not totally disagree with him in that they are pretty far and away the team. If you're looking at these 3 pairs that are like de facto pairing up at the end, that would be the most intimidating on paper.
Very much so. I will say as we get to this challenge, it's not going to be pairs that are all super in sync. Maybe CT and Jody are here and Wes and Svetlana are. Brad and Anissa just kind of by default end up together here for Paddle Me. We are going to see them end up in these pairs, paddle out and around to an island that's nearby. One person has to be on a what is this, a surfboard? I was going to call it a boogie board, but I think it's a surfboard. Say again?
They are indeed surfboards.
What's a boogie board? Is it just like a smaller one?
Have you never been boogie boarding?
No, it's been a long time.
A boogie board is like a small like foam, generally,
right? The baby thing
board. Yeah, like a much, it's probably 4 feet long, maybe 5 feet long. A surfboard is very, very, like, I don't know, 7 feet long, 8 feet long.
The boogie board is the thing
boards.
that you... Sorry.
It's like you've never watched Rocket Power.
Stop it. Don't make accusations like that.
You stand up on them.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that the things that you stood on top of, and then you waited until they whacked you in the face when it popped up out of the water.
I mean, sure. I have never been surfing. I have been boogie boarding. They have also whacked me in the face. So to varying degrees of success with boogie boards also.
So, they have to then the first partner has to go swim out to get your partner that's waiting on the surfboard, paddle out together, and then eventually they're going to break apart from their teammate, getting on individual surfboards and getting to the finish line, playing for a kicker audio system, winning a spot in the final, basically. It's a male and female elimination day here today.
It is. We're just gonna wrap up this season, go ahead and combine them into 1 week. And we find out that the winner will go straight to the final, as you said. But there's also something for second place. Second place is going to get to choose the duel that they compete in against the third placer.
Yeah, not the worst advantage, all things
No?
considered, that second and third place automatically going into the duel. Of course, as we found out earlier this season, it's going to be a two-person final for both the men and then the women. So yeah, it's not just, oh, you get to pick the card that then picks the elimination. You truly just get to pick the game. So, pretty big stakes in this final challenge. Already said what the teams were. And this one plays out just about as you'd expect, with Jody on the women's side taking the win, but also taking the win for like the overall challenge. She beats all the guys as well.
Yep, Jody absolutely kills it. To the frustration of CT, he feels like Jody really took it very easy on the team portion of this because they had to swim out as a team on the surfboard for the first half and then switch to their own surfboards for the second half, thinking that Jody just like let him do all the work. He gassed out and she was able to just breeze by everyone. So while CT and Jody were the first to finish the team portion, Jody takes that and runs with it. CT starts struggling.
Yeah, CT is not going to be able to win this alongside his original partner in all of this, Jody. It's going to be Wes that gets the win for the guys. CT does come in second place. Brad a little bit farther behind than he would have liked to, and he's going to obviously blame that all on his partner, Anissa. But whatever. And then Svetlana on the women's side comes in second. So CT and Brad are going to be facing off in elimination here today, as well as Svetlana and Anissa. CT is going to pick Push Me. Any qualms with him before we get to it all, picking that one out of all the options that we know?
I felt like we've seen how Push Me goes, and so that's probably hindsight, but just a very scary option. Whereas I feel like Pole Wrestle could have done just as good. I feel like Ascender, CT is a puzzle guy. I don't think Brad's so much of a puzzle guy.
Yeah, I guess, he probably just felt like he had the most control over Push Me, where he could use his physical force, and he is going to later make fun of Brad for, his, what is he, like toothpick legs or whatever, that he's got nothing going on down there. So he feels pretty confident that that's going to be a good one for him. But hey, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, he calls Brad a bone rack with no legs.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then Svetlana versus Anissa. Svetlana is, so this relationship, obviously, between the two of them, they've been pretty close throughout the season. They've had this whole, oh, let's go in back and forth and trade off because we're the ones that are getting put in anyway. So they've become really good friends, even all the way to the reunion. We're going to see this friendship has lasted. And so Svetlana kind of asks Anissa, so like, would you have a preference between I Can or Push Me? And Anissa doesn't want I Can, but then Svetlana does. So she lands on it anyway, disregarding what her friend wanted.
Yeah, it was very funny. She's like, "How about I give you the option for two?" And like comes up with, I'll pick this one or this one, which is very generous of Svetlana. But she doesn't end up keeping that generosity for long, I guess.
No. Anissa wanted to not do I Can. She feels like both players should have full control over what happens in the elimination. And basically, the way that I Can works is that only one player actually gets to put, their physicality to the test when the moment comes. And so she wants to make sure that she's the one to do it. And we'll get to, again, that elimination in a second, where that's going to be still her mentality that she wants to put the win or loss in her own physical hands.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
let's talk about that because Anissa telling Svetlana, no matter how much it is, I want to have it in my hands. I want to be the one to lift it. Okay, I raise all the way. Lift 150 logs like DM did. Like, in what world are you telling your opponent, no matter how high you raise it, I'm gonna do it?
Right. I mean, that's not the best way to get into it.
Horrific. It's horrific strategy.
They don't get to the number, right, that DM did. So at least there
Not
was,
even
a more
close.
realistic world. But
Yeah,
yeah.
which terrible call by Svetlana then at this point to only raise it
Yeah.
this much. It's like Svetlana had been in like, oh, okay, like I'll give you your choice of two. Oh, okay, I'll give you like this and that. We'll switch off duels. Svetlana's been fairly generous, really rooting on her friend at this time and even when Anissa's trying to lift it up, you could hear Svetlana being like, "Come on, Anissa, you got this. You can lift it." It's like,
There's
really hope she should not be able to do this.
There's a whole segment at the reunion. Of course, we're going to get to more of that as we go, but about how Svetlana may have wanted her friends or just everybody around her to win this season as much as she wanted to win, maybe even more. How many times did we hear her talking about how like she didn't really care to do whatever it needs to be done in order to win, but there's so many like people around here that she was really invested in their success around the season. And again, literally a segment about how other people overheard her saying at different times that she would rather this person or that person go on to win.
Yeah, which is crazy, but also, I mean, I would say that it could be like good to lower your threat level if I didn't believe it was just actually the case.
Right. I mean, let's just keep it on this Svetlana Anissa elimination. It's the less exciting of the two. This was Anissa's fourth duel and Svetlana's third. So yeah, I mean, this whole trading back and forth. And they end up, I think the final number was 73 of how many logs that Anissa is going to make the last claim and say, this is how many I can do. And she has to do it. But to cut right ahead to it, Anissa is not able to get it off the ground.
Which is crazy because, first of all, this is half the number of logs that DM said she could lift. She gets to about 150, I believe, before she goes ahead and does it. And DM is there giving everything. It looks like DM is going to fall apart at the seams, just like completely explode as a person as she is trying to lift this. Whereas Anissa's like, can't do it. Like, bye, TJ. Like, just gives the slightest lift, puts her pinky on it,
I mean,
and
if both of these were too heavy, there's nothing you can do about that. You know, if you said that you could lift one elephant but you can't, there's no difference if I tried to lift two elephants and I can't. So
completely true. But when you have in the challenge, and I don't think we discussed this, but in the challenge where, you know, they're like paddling out on the surfboards, and Brad and Anissa are very, very, very far behind in third place. Brad is like, Anissa, we're very clearly going into the duel. We are so far behind them. Why don't we just give up and save all of our strength for the duel so that if we have to go against them in, you know, push me, ascender, whatever, they're all weak and we have our full strength. And he's just like, absolutely not. I never give up. I do the best like every time. We have to go. We have to finish this. And so it's just funny to contrast that with like, you know, the Anissa who is the never quit mentality to, oh, well. Like,
hey, you know what? After all said and done here, she didn't give up and she gets to leave here even with a bonus prize. After Svetlana is going to win the elimination by Anissa's loss here, Svetlana is devastated and she's going to go run and give her a hug. She's so sad for her friend. TJ awards her I think it was a T-Mobile sidekick. That was the prize here.
Mm-hmm.
And she also, by the way, and a year of service on the phone. That's important.
That does
gotta
help.
have that. And she hands it to Anissa within a second. She takes it out of TJ's hands and gives it to Anissa, and TJ then congratulates Anissa on her new phone. And also she gets the jacket off of TJ's back.
Would you want the jacket?
I mean, yeah.
Right now, TJ offers you his jacket. You taking it?
Yeah, why not?
What are you doing with it?
I mean, I don't think I'm wearing it too often, but I'm just like kind of having it, like, you know,
okay,
memorable stuff.
Are you framing it?
No. Are you?
Like, no. Maybe like honestly, maybe I don't stream background.
Yeah.
But like, I thought about it and I was like, cool in theory, but like, what am I doing with this?
Yeah, I don't know. I've thought before about the idea of framing clothing items, obviously something that's like important, a jersey, this or that. But I've never actually done it because I've never thought that it's, I don't know, made a ton of sense. I don't know.
I have
the jacket.
From when I was little, my like room is sports themed. Through my parents were extremely lucky in raffles. I do have a technique, but don't worry about it. And so we have like so much crap from raffles, whether like signed jerseys and like whatever. So I do have quite a few signed jerseys and stuff that were hanging up in my childhood bedroom.
I was going to say, have they made it back up on the walls as you guys have, you know, transitioned into different spaces?
they have not.
Okay.
But, I would say my dad has had, you know, some hang up in his office or whatever else. But
sure.
It's let's say it's not the theme of my adult bedroom.
Okay. Well, we would love to know what that theme is at some point, but maybe not today. TJ, if you ever want to give us a jacket, I'll give you my address in a second. Anyway, Anissa
Sure.
is out of here. She is obviously hoping for Svetlana to get the win for both of them. She says, Anissa will be back next season, but strangely, after that, only one of the following 6 seasons after that.
Oh my god, an Anissa break. I did not remember that this happened.
Big Anissa break. So yeah, next season
Apparently.
she'll be here, which I think is her first back-to-back season in her run so far. But then
Oh,
one out of the 6 following seasons. So the Anissa Sans comes after that into modern day challenges. But
okay.
anyway, bigger story here is, of course, the Brad and CT elimination. It's Push Me, and just as controversial as the Beth and Svetlana one, we have this one, but this one doesn't just end in just like Beth says, oh, DQ, it is what it is. I guess I have to go home, even though she makes a couple of comments on the way out. No, this turns into one of the biggest challenge fights to date.
This is just absolutely ridiculous. You have Brad versus CT, which, you would think, okay, kind of like an interesting matchup. Not the most like closely matched in the world, but not the most offset either. Oops. And so you think you're gonna get a good elimination here, but instead CT just absolutely manhandles that pole that Brad is attached to the other end of, and pushes Brad immediately to the back of the arena. Just no contest. It's not even close. And Brad has nothing that he can do besides wiggle the pole a little bit. And that ultimately is enough. Just a little bit of wiggling of the pole to set CT off balance and tear the flag in half, even though CT has absolutely no problem standing there, undoing the carabiner, getting it done correctly. Yeah, he's freaking out a little bit, and I think the show makes a half of an attempt to blame it on him for just being so like crazy. I'm sorry that the flag is made out of like rice paper. Like it is just the easiest thing in the world to tear. Like you could blow on it and it's just going to break. And so I think that like the quality control is really the issue here.
Yeah.
But yeah, once again, we have this controversy of the person who actually won ends up going home because they have cheap flags attached
Because
to this.
production is bad at their jobs here in a massive way. I mean, I think you raised this question, I want to say last time, about like, is the better strategy to just let your opponent get to the flag knowing that they're gonna mess
Yep.
up and rip it off poorly? The
Yep.
answer is pretty firmly yes. After seeing this elimination now, I think it was 3 times this season, and this happened 2 of the times. And as you mentioned, this time for CT, it didn't feel like he was like aggressively running towards the flag. Like he got there with the ability to get it off properly, but by the time he reaches down, he can't get it without it completely just ripping off in his hands. The closest thing that I can think to with like a modern elimination for this is like season 40, the nail board that, funny enough, he was a part of,
Uh,
but I'm thinking about Tina's side of the board, where Tina just like started to touch these nails in the wall and they all fell out, and it was like, okay, clearly they were not nailed all the way in. She would fight back on that and say, actually, please don't underestimate my skills, as she beat Emily Strom in that elimination. But clearly something that production did went haywire for Tina's board there, benefited her, and for CT here did not benefit him, did not benefit Beth. They did nothing wrong besides not unhook the carabiner properly, which seemed nearly impossible to do unless you were literally like, unless there was no pole involved and you were able to just walk on over, have nobody standing in your way, and then very carefully grab the hook, unhook it, and walk away.
the only reason that it worked for Svetlana the one time that this elimination goes like actually properly is because Kina was so gassed she could not stand. She just
Right.
collapses to the floor and cries. And so had Kina had, I don't know, an ounce of energy left in her, like that goes differently. Kina's still here. Kina's running the final. I think that it is so bizarre. Even the edit, I think, like in the attempt to blame it on CT's, like, yeah, but CT, like, you did DQ because you didn't listen to rules other times, like at the reunion. It's like, Okay, I mean, yes, but that doesn't mean that this was his fault. Like they're definitively trying to make it seem as if, once again, CT just doesn't listen.
CT is going to go off here, and that's what's going to lead to this major blow up between him and Wes mostly. CT is just off yelling, "That's bull! You can't stop me! You know you can't beat me!" He starts yelling at Brad, telling Brad, "You should just go home. You know that that's bull." He's like, I don't know who he's talking to. TJ, who? He's like, it's like you wanted him to win, pointing to Brad. He's mad at anybody and everybody. TJ's not safe at all here. Brad, West, literally anybody that is in sight, the camera person, anybody that is in earshot is in CT's warpath, as he is, I will say, rightfully upset. Is he acting rightfully? No, I don't know, but competitive people, I don't know. I guess I can't be too surprised. And also, it's CT of all people. But then, yeah, he gets
Uh-huh.
back and forth into this with Wes, and it gets low, it gets dirty. It's crazy.
I would also lose my mind here. I don't think that I could do anything to summon the rage that is within CT. I just don't think that's in me. Who knows? But I would be surprised. I feel like CT. Hmm. Have we seen CT this angry before?
Not yet.
I
I
feel
mean,
like,
if it's happened on the real world, I wasn't there. So,
yeah.
but not on the challenge.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, back to all of his days on the challenge, and it's something that we will be seeing more of,
Yes.
but we have not been privy to all the way inside of this, early season run of
Yeah.
CT. So it has been coming. I thought it was going to come really one appearance later, and I forgot just how bad he gets frustrated here, but I don't know. He's upset.
Yeah, Wes is like yelling back at CT, telling him to shut the fuck up, and CT is bringing up Johanna and the ring that Wes like wants to buy, and Wes is then bouncing back about how he used DM. He's like, "Well, why don't I go fake date someone to get to the end of this shit? You
Ooh.
scumbag! You're a scumbag!" And then I think
Which is
he's
so funny
talking.
because CT, I was like, mind your business. Like, you're the one who brought up relationships. Like,
Very much so. So then Brad's getting involved to try to calm CT down. I think Svetlana's also getting involved because then CT has a line here where he says, "What are you, his boyfriend now? How long have you guys been dating?" And I think he's talking to Svetlana, but if you weren't any the wiser that Svetlana was there, you would think that he's talking to Brad because Brad's
I thought it
trying
was
to get involved.
Anissa.
Oh, maybe Anissa too. It's
Honestly,
anybody's fair game here.
yeah, it could have been anyone. Truly, it was such like mass chaos. But I felt like Anissa was, like telling him to calm down, like, back up, like don't do this. And so that's where I thought it was. But it is just chaos. CT cannot be controlled. He has completely lost it, and eventually it's treated as like, haha, CT lost and isn't this silly, and he got so mad. But no, he's like real angry.
Yeah, I mean, he tells Wes he will effing kill him.
He's gonna kill him. That's fine. We could say that.
Can we? I don't know what gets flagged these days.
We're not on TikTok. It's fine.
Okay, good. Well, that's what comes out of CT's mouth. Not the angriest thing he'll probably say in seasons to come, but maybe close to.
We're gonna
Um,
say much crazier things out of CT's mouth.
well, we'll get there. Brad is trying to stay calm in all of this. I mean, probably somewhat easy to when you are the one that just won. Like the reason this
Yeah.
reaction's coming out of CT is because he lost and he will not have a chance to go compete for this money. So he does like try to calm CT down and say, "Look, I'm sorry that happened to you." CT's obviously just enraged. Tells TJ eventually, "Just get me out of here. Like, just do your thing. Get me out of here. I'm done. I've had enough." Wes is being a confessional warrior here, being like, CT, you didn't beat Brad, you beat yourself. Stop acting like a baby. Take your middle seat on the way home. Have a fun life without $100,000. I mean, I would say it to CT's face, but he kind of did, so I can't really give him shit for that. But
I don't. He
yeah,
definitely is a little bit of like a confessional. I don't even know the right word. But just is, CT's a low life. He needs to grow up. Like, just get home. Like, go home. You're over it. You need to be kicked off this thing. I don't know. At the same time, when he shows up like super buddy buddy with him later, I like do roll my eyes a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Wes has had some confessionals, I think, in the same episode where he's like, "Yeah, I'm cocky because I'm winning and I'm doing good, and I can be cocky." So I don't like. I don't even know. Like, is there any semblance of like, is this a character or is this just young Wes and this is how he is?
I feel like Young West does suck. Is it all a character or
Or is
not?
any of
Is
it
a
a
great
character? Is it like,
question.
is it, how aware is he that he's on TV and trying to make a name for himself? Or is it truly just like I think he might just have this all in him. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just in him for the most
Yeah.
part. And honestly, I think it still is.
Yeah, it is. So CT is out here. Brad obviously going back to compete in the final. CT has some kind of closing words about how, he obviously got a lot more out of this season besides, he's not getting the money, but the time he spent with DM, I think is what he's alluding to about him having gained something here. CT obviously many more seasons to come. I think specifically he's on 3 of the next 4 seasons. So we'll see how
Mm.
that goes.
Yeah, it's not the end of CT. It is maybe the start of like a darker CT run. So I
Very
am
much so.
curious to see that. I'm curious to see CT and DM and how that develops because it is very clearly a big storyline. It gets accused of being fake here, and that's like an interesting note to leave it off on because I mean it's not as even CT's like, how dare you? Like, whatever. He's just like, mind your business. Like, it's, I don't know, kind of interesting. But that's the end of CT on the duel, at least.
Yeah, a big season for him. We'll see, just how he stacks up against the rest of the cast when we start talking Mount Rushmore. But pretty big storylines for him throughout the season. But we do have to close it out with the people that are still in the game and did not DQ. When we get to episode 16, we're gonna watch the final of this season, but we're gonna start the episode off in a way that I thought we were watching the reunion. It's giving, Jeff Probst in recent Survivor finales of like, hey everyone, so we're all here on stage before they took away the reunion show. We're all here. We're gonna watch what happens, and we're gonna go down to the finals, and then this is gonna happen, and blah blah blah. Where our host Susie Castillo is the one introducing everything. This is, she's setting everything up as everyone is on stage for the reunion. So wasn't totally wrong about that. But we're gonna watch the finale first, and then go to the reunion. So interesting.
I
Choice.
like Susie. I'll be sad to lose her when we do.
Yeah, is that I don't know if we have any semblance of like how soon it is that she's gone from the show, but or from the
I don't remember.
reunions, but yeah, she's pretty good. She has a good amount of fun with the challengers. So we'll get to the reunion in a second. Jody versus Svetlana and Wes versus Brad. Over the course of this season, just some stats for you real quick. That Jody has not been into an elimination, but she has 7 challenge wins. Wes has been into 1 elimination, has 2 challenge wins. Brad has now done 2 eliminations and has 1 challenge win. And Svetlana, of course, has been thrown into 3 eliminations, has made it out all 3 times, and also has 2 challenge wins. So, some pretty decent resumes for everybody here. But let's get into it.
Let's get into it. We're going into the final, and it really is just everyone talking about what they want to do with the money. It's we bring back up the I want to propose to Johanna. I want to have the wedding. Svetlana wants to go to med school. Brad just bought a house, which, okay, Brad, look at you. Off of challenge money back in the day. It wasn't as much.
Yeah. Jody wants to donate some money, so we'll see, who can get this money to do all of those things with. The final is going to begin at nice and early. It's like 6:45 a.m. start time. Yeah, it's early to get going here. Also, Wes made a comment as they were getting set up, which I thought was just interesting. He said he can't wait to be old and drinking beers with Brad, talking about all of this. I said that's probably a realistic thing that's happened.
Do you think that Wes and Brad? I was going to ask this question actually. Do you think they've ever sat down and talked about the duel final?
I do. I certainly do.
I don't.
I mean,
like,
I don't
feel
think
like
they're
Wes
best friends, but I think that, any of these OG guys that are still a part of the show today, absolutely.
I just think that their careers have spanned so far beyond this that this is the smallest blip on the radar. Like I think that Wes probably loves to be like, remember when I won the challenge against everyone? But I don't think that him and Brad are sitting down reminiscing about remember the good old days of the duel final? No.
I mean, I think especially when you want to show off to the young rookies that are here, like, even if it's like not just like brand new people, like Era 4 is around, or they end up on a Challenge Mania stage, like it's coming up. It's come up at some point in the past. I'll even say like 5 years.
I would love to know.
Hmm. Well, they're all going to get on a helicopter together, get dropped off on this big field with TJ, some soccer balls, and a bunch of challenge signs all around as they kick off the Rio deal here, which is going to be the final. It's going to be a foot race with several challenges along the way. When you get to the end, you got to grab your flag, get to the finish line, which is going to reward $150,000 to the first place man and woman that finish. But to start things off, they're going to be playing Scally for an advantage, a 2-minute head start.
Ooh, a 2 minute head start. They are each going to take 5 penalty kicks on the other. The person who scores more is going to head and get that 2 minute head start on the other on this run. And, you know, some people are more experienced with a soccer ball than others, it appears.
Yeah, very much so. That's Wes. That is much more experienced. Who knew? I didn't know. Everybody else pretty mediocre. Svetlana versus Jody. Svetlana gets 1 goal in. Jody ends up getting 2, and it was like the last 2 goals that she kicked. So Svetlana probably could have held off a little bit more, but whatever. Jody got the win there, and then Brad gets 1 goal in on Wes as Wes is in goal, and then Wes immediately gets the first 2 goals in against Brad and has the second point to then advance. Jody and Wes get the head starts here, which proved to be very important, especially for Brad versus Wes. Not so important for Svetlana versus Jody.
Yeah, not so important there. Svetlana versus Jody is not going to be as close. Whereas Wes versus Brad is really a back and forth all day, and that is only aided by the fact that Wes has this 2 minute head start because Wes has a lot of experience with soccer. It's very clear as soon as Brad is kicking that not the best with a soccer ball. I think Brad was playing other sports, whereas Wes was probably a soccer player growing up. So experience really, really, really came in clutch here.
Yeah, they're going to end up with these two, I don't know, little mini games along the way where they pretty much, Brad and Wes stay, in pace with one another. Brazilian blocks is the first game where they have to carry 4 cubes one at a time up the hill, place it into their puzzle tray. They describe it as basically like a big Rubik's Cube where they have to get, the different colors and shapes to be on all opposite sides of each other. And then the teeter-totter part of this is the second challenge where they have to use rocks to put into a crate on one side of a teeter-totter that they have to stand on the other and balance it out so that once they are balanced for 5 seconds, they can move on. And that's it. That's the final here. There's obviously some race, some running between them in between each spot, each checkpoint. But ultimately, once the teeter-totter is done and then they can run to the finish line, that's it. They grab the flag and they're done. Wes and Brad in all of this again are really, really close. Ultimately, Wes finishes teeter-totter a little bit faster and goes on and gets the win on that side.
Yeah, absolutely crazy because as they say, had Wes not had this 2 minute head start, Brad wins. It
Yep.
is close. It is one of the closer final finishes I think that we probably ever have. Like usually these things are quite often a blowout, and so to see it be so close is very exciting. I think it's probably forgotten about in talking about this season, talking about Wes's legacy. Like, oh wow, Wes beat 15 other guys, like a really really stacked cast to win a final all by himself. But also it's mostly because he had a 2 minute head start.
Yeah, I mean, look, he won fair and square that 2-minute head start. So, that's the nature of this final. But it is pretty crazy for Wes in his second season here to becoming a challenge champ already. Of course, we have talked about this before. The meaning of like, I guess, becoming a challenge champ is not quite what it's going to become all these years later of like what people like really just want to finally get their win or how important it is for people to have gotten the win at this point. Like for Brad, who's feeling pretty defeated here, he's like, he does express the sentiment of like, I've been doing so many of these. Derek Kaczynski as well was talking about that. Like, I want to get a win, but it's not like I want to be a challenge champion. It's just I want to win one of these shows.
Yeah, that's the thing is like with Derek specifically, I can remember like was it Keena or Jody who's like it's like no one deserves it more. Like they need to get a win, like he deserves it so much. It definitely is talked about in that way. I think that Brad really is starting to appreciate it, just of like how much it means to him more than anyone else to make a final, to win a final. Like he just wants it so bad. I think it's super interesting that we're getting to that point. It's obviously nowhere near the weight that it is now, but there's also many fewer winners now, so things will change there. I'm curious, had Brad won here, how do you think? Because I feel like you don't look at Brad with a ton of respect
Huh.
over the course of challenge history. Do you think that changes if Brad was the winner here?
I don't even know if I agree with that assessment. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't think of him as like, one of the top tier challengers,
Yeah.
but I mean, so far his story has been the same, right? It's just been like he goes home before the final. He hasn't really had his chance to prove himself. He proves himself here, but not getting the win. I don't know, but it's also like the character, his like who he is, what he brings to the show. He spent half of the season being like, "Keep your drama away from me. I don't want anything to do with it." And it's like, well, I can't respect you as a challenger all the way through if you're like showing you're actively
Yeah.
annoyed that drama is happening. I was glad he like acknowledged, oh, Beth is good for the show because she brings drama. It's like, well, where's yours? Like
I
right now, I'm getting nothing.
See, I feel like Brad is someone who is annoyed that drama is happening, but like is on the periphery of it more than not. Honestly, I feel like does bring some to the show. I think that like aren't most people annoyed when drama comes their way? Like they don't love it. Even like the ones who are the most dramatic. So I don't really fault him too much there. I think and I don't know if I'm misattributing it to you, but especially like when he becomes like the fifth guy on Arrow One or is like coming back on All Stars, I feel like people are kind of like, who is Brad? Why is Brad here all the time? Like he's not good. And I think Brad is like, yeah, sure, not the same exact level as like the CTs and Derek's and Darrell's that are coming back on Arrow One, but it does get kind of underrated through the years, I think.
I think if he was appearing a little less often, maybe me or whoever else would like be a little
Mhm.
bit more into it when he's back. But it has felt like he's been back a little bit more. And this is like for a lot of the Era One people that are just a little bit more involved in every active challenge than we
Yeah.
would maybe think or want or that kind of thing. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
think, and I think that just makes us, or yeah, again, whoever I'm grouping in, maybe with myself here, like not the most hyped for when he's back these days.
This
Um,
may be like kind of a little hype. I don't know, like
for
I'm a little like okay, you know what? Whatever. Bring Brad back.
Oh, like
I'll
for
watch it.
42?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's, as of right now in real time, he is certainly speculated to be there. So we'll see if he ends up there or not and if
I'm
he
not mad
delivers
about it.
or not.
Plus
Brad,
the
as of
beard's
right now,
gone,
though,
right?
wait, say again.
Plus the beard's gone, right?
The beard, I think, is gone right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just like, it could be back for all I know.
Yeah. That era was not, definitely not my favorite.
Yeah.
Brad, in real time here, is going to not be on this next season of the show, but then after that will be on 4 of the following 6 seasons. So that will be much more Brad coming our way, and obviously much more for years to come. As far as Wes is concerned, obviously many more seasons for Wes. But after this season, Wes is not on the next 4 seasons.
Uh-huh. West takes a big break here, which feels weird. Like
Yeah.
you talk about how, oh, West and Bananas, this rivalry, they're on all the seasons. It's like actually West disappears for quite some time.
Yep. Obviously, when he's back, he's going to be on all of them. When he's back, he's on 6 out of 7 seasons, and never really takes that long of a break again. I guess you could say a little bit of a break. I think it's like seasons 29 through whatever War of the World season 32. So like another 4 season or so break there.
Mhm.
But otherwise, yeah, this is about to be the longest for a little bit that we go without Wes, and then we won't be able to get rid of him if you want to get rid of him. But not much more to say besides how impressive it is that he did manage to get to the end despite being not a rookie but a sophomore here, and get the win.
True.
So there's that.
Very true.
On the women's side of the board, Svetlana and Jody finishing out their season where they both were struggling on the puzzle portion of all of this. Jody does eventually get it while Svetlana times out. And then by the time Jody gets to the teeter-totter portion, she finishes it with, as far as we can tell, relative ease. Svetlana gets to it while Jody's already gone. They do edit it in a way to make it look like Svetlana, could catch up, but there's just truly no world. And Jody wins.
You don't see these two in the same frame from the time that they start the final.
Nope.
It's not close. Jody demolished this. Good job, Jody. A very good season competitively.
Now, here's my question, I guess. If Jody doesn't get this win here, and I don't know, if Jody doesn't win here, is she still someone that they're calling back as they do much later on for All Stars World Championship?
I think she probably got the call at some point. She does have some interesting moments in earlier seasons. I don't think this season was her strongest, if I'm being honest, but she has some drama.
A little bit. We're going to talk about, Mel was speculating with maybe some of Jody's possible hookups. We get a little bit more confirmation of that or not at the reunion. We'll talk about in a second, but I don't know, just bit of a quiet season. She's certainly the least edited person confessional wise of the final four here. Very much far underneath where Svetlana was, but she gets the win. Svetlana does not. Jody is actually also not back again on the challenge until All Stars. So this is our final time here with Jody in the main version of the show.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. You feel like, oh, wow, this is someone who is super competitive, has had drama before, maybe not the most this season, but I wouldn't completely write her off. And instead, since this is her final season, she gets this legacy as oh, Jody, what a boring player. Didn't ever brought anything to the show. Whereas, I don't know, her other seasons were fighting over Mark Long, crying hysterically, quite a bit. There was stuff there.
There was stuff there. I mean, in her return, 3 seasons, I think it's been. Has there been stuff there though?
No.
Yeah.
The thing is that she has not proven the legacy wrong, but I think the legacy was maybe unfair in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, the legacy's true now. Don't get me wrong. Jody's very boring. I do not want to see her on 42. I am not interested. But Jody original run, I would say average, above average,
around average. Yeah, probably
around
not
average.
for me above average, but I don't know, average enough.
Yeah.
But who was not average? We doubted Svetlana. We said we're not really seeing it. Last time we really checked in on where we were at with her run here. All of Challenge Nation wants to see Svetlana finally come back on All Stars, on literally anything, because this is her only challenge season. Where are you at after all is said and done here? Did you finally see it?
I think it was part 2 where I was she's a little quieter than I remember. And then part 3 where she really is just what an idiot. They're pathetic. They're stupid. They're a loser. I was like, you know what? I kind of see it. Yeah. I think Svetlana is a interesting character. Interesting enough to be first of all, I have issues with some of the other people that everyone is dying to have back. But we'll see how that comes up on a rewatch if I start to understand more what people were seeing in some people. I don't know, Heather Cook. But I think Svetlana, I didn't think she would have the staying power that she's had based off of this, but I see it. I do. I would like her back.
It's hard not to, by the time that, like you said, part 3, part 4 of at least where we were at in covering the show, she really does take a very big front seat in the narrative. And you can just, I would say, clear as day tell that they were investing in her to the point that I'm sure they wanted her back. I can't, unless anybody out there, you or anyone knows of any reason as to why production wouldn't have wanted her back. She was getting a great edit here. Paula, Johnny are going to go on to have huge challenge careers from the same real world season. Tyler, not so much, but whatever. They probably are looking at this group as oh, there's some potential here. And Svetlana goes all the way to the end of the game. She's great in confessionals. That she should be a star, but then she's just never back. And that's the end of the story. So I think that it does make a lot of sense why there are so many people really longing for her return. I don't know what that would look like today. I have no idea what she's up to whatsoever, but I see it now.
The last I ever heard was that oh, people are trying to find Svetlana. She's an underground graffiti artist in LA. She's alternative living. She is just completely off the grid. So whatever's going on with Svetlana, it sounds very interesting.
One day we'll find out. Let's get to the reunion, where again we were popping in and out of this reunion set during the final, but now we're gonna lock in here with Susie.
Oh, can I say
yes?
before we get there,
Yes.
to celebrate, Wes and Jody go paragliding off of the side of a cliff. Completely forgot paragliding was a thing.
Yes.
Did not remember that existed at all. Now I want to go.
Yeah, and it's funny because you said to celebrate. That's what I thought they were doing as well, but that's how they got to the finish line.
Oh, yes.
Because
Sure.
that's where TJ's waiting with their checks. So they needed to take that ride down there to get to the beach to get their checks from TJ.
So if someone refused, they do not win. Gotcha. Yes, that makes sense.
Well, you see Brad and Svetlana, kind of sharing a sad hug as they get left behind, and there's no paraglide for them. So,
would you go paragliding?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel better with that. I mean, it's not falling from the sky, and you're strapped to, another person, and that looks more fun to me.
I feel like it's equally falling from the sky.
But... No. There's wings.
Okay.
Wings that are deployed from the second that you go.
Okay.
You're lower to the ground.
You could deploy your parachute early it would take a long time to get down there, but on skydiving, I think.
That's okay. No, thank you. Let's go to the reunion. Let's talk about the attendance real quick. We have Wes and Jody and Evan and DM, Brad, CT, Beth, Anissa, and Svetlana. So 2 rows worth of people here. Just about everybody that made it to the end of the game. Notable snubs.
So many people. I feel like it is very few people here, in fact. 9 people total.
Yeah,
that feels crazy.
It was what, a 20-person cast? So half the field.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt so small.
And of course, let me mention there are 9, but eventually a 10th cast member is going to come out. Tina is also here in attendance, but she is backstage. We're going to get to a segment where Tina will come out and talk to us about what happened with her and Beth, but Beth is not able to be on the stage. She refuses to be there in Tina's presence.
Yeah. The thing is that, like, ultimately, did we need like Johnny, Paula, Tyler there? No. Kenny and Casey? No. There's lots of people that we don't need here, but it just felt so tiny. I mean, even Kina, who makes it like really far, didn't have like a huge storyline this season. I did find her to be very enjoyable, but I didn't think like we needed to check in with really anything. So I would say Kina was robbed just for how far she made it and how much I think she brought to the season, but I don't think that we needed her here.
Yeah, I mean, they made the cutoff if you made it to the final 4 men or the final 4 women, or if you're Beth. That's who was there on stage.
Or if you Beth.
Or if you hit Beth. So that's who's in attendance here. We're going to check in with some of the finalists. Wes and Johanna are still doing great. They bought a house together. They're buying a bar together. He loves her. He's happy.
Adorable.
He
can't wait to propose.
Yeah. Jody bought her condo.
They do bring up the days of the groupie drawer. Do you know of the groupie drawer?
I do not. I would love if you have more information though for me.
Oh God, I can't wait if we do ever watch the Real World seasons. The groupie drawer was where, to my memory, and again, I have not seen this in quite some time, and I was a child when I watched it. But they would go out, get girls' numbers, then just put them all in a drawer, and then whenever they were bored, they would just open the drawer, shuffle it up, pull out a number, and be like, "Hey, remember us? Let's hang." And just completely at random be like, "Yeah, we definitely want to hang out with you." Like, I have no idea who this woman is.
My guess was going to be something similar-ish, but different. I don't know. Like a tally type of thing is maybe what I thought they were talking about here.
Yeah, no, it was just like, we're bored and probably they're horny. So who should they try to hook up with tonight? And it was just at random, just pick a name out of a hat, essentially, and then congratulations, you've been selected.
Speaking of a hat, what do you fashion check on Wes wearing this like beanie with the dangly things on the side? Brad's in a hoodie and a hat. No looks here.
Look, some would say they were serving looks for the time. I think that like this is certainly that era. Like, it looks very of the time.
Yeah.
And at the time, I'd be like, oh, they look so cool.
I'm sure. Jody bought her condo in Virginia and donated some money to a charity pretty close to her heart, as she said she wanted to do. Brad screwed over again. He finished the final, as we mentioned, in less time than Wes, but Wes had the head start. But Brad's not upset because he still won the bike and he still had a great time. And then we talked to Svetlana again about just how much did you actually care about being here and winning and all of this stuff. And Anissa and Svetlana are still close. But what is really going to kick things off here is the Beth versus Svetlana round 1 of 2 or 3 at this reunion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I will say I thought it was very convenient that the second place winners both ended up being the ones who won the bike. So that's like probably the best prize of the season.
Yeah.
And then they end up taking that home. So that is convenient. But Beth versus Svetlana, Beth goes ahead and calls Svetlana out and is like, it's weird that you gave Kina shit for crying after Push Me when you cried and quit in our duel. You were a little crybaby too, huh?
Svetlana doesn't have the best answer here. Doesn't have much of a comeback. She has the enthusiasm behind her rebuttals of like, you know, you don't really question it per se. I mean, Beth is going to, but yeah, she doesn't really have a great answer.
No, she's just like, well, you're stupid and old and everyone hates you. Like, okay.
Yeah, she says, and she tells Beth, Svetlana tells Beth the only reason that she's even sitting here today is because she got punched in the face.
Like, all right, yeah, true, probably.
Pretty good battle between, again, who is like Beth, like the face of like, you know, veterans that are coming back on the show time and time again because they make good TV, and Svetlana, who again I feel like they're probably looking at as someone that could be a future face of the show. Obviously is not, but this war happening here, if Svetlana did come back, would be a lot of fun to see 2.0.
That's true.
Would have been fun. Speaking of Beth, let's talk about Beth and Nehemiah, her tenderoni, and we get to flag up when Jody called it gross, which she was saying because of the age difference. So,
which,
you know,
like, it's so crazy because Beth and Nehemiah are like, again, to my recollection, like 2 years difference between the age difference between Jody and Mark Long. So this is just like internalized misogyny. Like it is.
Yeah.
You've done this. You've literally done this.
A lot of dipping talk.
Yeah. I dipped, you dipped, we dipped, she dipped, they dipped.
Lisa didn't dip. She says no dipping. She just cuddled Nehemiah. That's all, but no dipping.
Yeah, interesting.
Somebody said, like, what is dipping? And they were like, oh, it's dipping.
It's pretty easy to figure out. Like, if you don't know, I don't know. That's your problem. We do get DM chiming in here.
DM versus Beth. Everyone versus Beth. Because
I just want to say that I think Beth is a little fake. Like, okay.
And Beth has been waiting for this opportunity to talk about DM and DM being fake. And actually, you know what? I've been waiting myself for an opportunity to play a clip that I have for you today. So this is a video that I have had saved, bookmarked on Reddit for a while now.
Oh, I'm scared.
It was posted 3 months ago. The clip is from Beth on TikTok, and it says, the title of it is Beth Talks the Duel 1 Fight with Tina. And also she's talking about DM here. So give me half a second. Let's play.
Wait, I'm actually terrified.
You don't have to be terrified.
Well, no, Beth is a terrifying person in general. So who knows what she's going to say. I don't like this.
It's 1:50, so you know it can't be too terrible. But let's find out what Beth has to say all these years later about the fight with Tina, and then also talking about DM here. Let me know, of course, if you can't hear it. But I think you
literally, first of all, obsessed with Beth putting an outline around her body on her own video.
Yep.
It's so funny. It looks like a freaking iPod commercial.
Yep.
Fighting with Tina on DM's win, dude. Listen. That itch wants to make up whatever excuse she wants to make up about fighting with me. She started the fight with me, okay?
True.
She came up to me and body slammed me and walked past me. She started the fight, not me. And then I went after her to let her know I'm not afraid of her. And I'm still not afraid of her, okay? I'm not afraid of the girl. She's afraid of me. She was afraid of going against me because she knew that she was going to have to go into elimination against me.
I feel like she should be afraid these days.
And So she didn't know what else to do, and she freaked out. And I'm sure today she would still be afraid to go against me because I'd still kick her ass. Sorry. It's the truth. The truth hurts, but that's the truth.
Let's make that happen.
Is it terrible? I was never a fan of Veronica. Yeah. Yeah. And whatever, Diem's win. What can I say?
I think she's referring to Diem's win in that challenge.
Yes. Game. I honestly, I don't care about Diem's win. She's great, whatever. I was not close friends with Diem at all. And
you don't say.
She was actually kind of a bully. So that's the truth. True story. You know, I have no ill feelings against her, but I didn't owe her anything in that moment. And that's not what it was about. Tina was just making that up. Oh, well, my excuse was I punched Beth because Beth didn't want her to win. What are you talking about? She's just nonsense.
Diem is kind of a bully. It's here's the thing, bullies come in many different packages, and that's all true, but it is just so funny to think about Diem bullying Beth. Beth, you look stupid today. Just the softest person that seems to exist on these shows at the moment versus Bethosaurus.
She has to say here that Diem is so fake and shallow and superficial. And so, yeah, I mean, very clearly at the time, and all these years later, which I mean, look, I do think is a little interesting, that Beth, I don't know, is willing or wanting to say things like this, knowing, obviously Diem is no longer with us. And look, I don't know, I can't tell people how to say and what to say things, but just it feels like the type of thing that personally I would just leave to the side and not bring up much on an Instagram live.
I think that okay, just because someone passes doesn't mean that they were a good person. For me, if you truly had a terrible experience with someone, okay, go ahead and talk about it. But I don't feel like Diem and Beth had this game-changing, horrific experience. It was so dramatic that it still needs to be talked about, and that's where I find it a little weird. Of just
that's the part I'm really getting to, but.
If there was actually something bad, then okay, then yeah, we're people's sins. Sins is such a weird word, but people's sins don't get absolved because they died. That's not. I don't subscribe to that.
No. But just in general, it's not we're talking about as far as we can tell, any crazy big wrongdoings type of thing. Like you said, they had bad experiences with one another, and Beth is allowed to say whatever she wants, but it just, I don't know, it comes across to me a little strange she's talking to a challenge audience, but I take your point. So point is, Diem and Beth are certainly not best of friends here. And again, lots of talk about Beth and Nehemiah. Did they do any dipping or not? Claim is that no, they did not. They were just friends who had a very cuddly relationship. But yeah, anything else on that?
No.
All right. We talk about a lot of the deal making and backstabbing of the season. Susie congratulates Beth on her first ever alliance that she had this season, including with Anissa, who did not like Beth on Gauntlet 2, which of course, pretty infamous moments there. But this time Anissa needed her, so she just had to let it go. And yeah, Beth had an alliance. Look at that.
Beth had an alliance. Congratulations, Beth. There were so many alliances this season. Everyone was doing them. Everyone's going to be doing them for the future. So, I don't know. I don't feel bad. Congratulations. Keep doing them.
Evan and Wes, of course, is going to come up here. And long story short, besides long hair Evan, really long hair Evan, Evan seems to be letting us know that he knows he overreacted.
Yeah, I mean, he says, he's I was mad, not yes, I agreed to this, but also I was mad because it was sold that I was so enthusiastic about doing it. And we're thanks, Evan. And it's I don't know, sure.
Yeah,
sure, Evan. Whatever.
He's saying that because I needed the clarification on this. I was still confused last time, and now I guess I'm not as much anymore. That him and Wes had a conversation, and Evan said, if it comes down to it, I will go against CT in elimination. I will say his name, and it'll be that if I'm the one that ends up in that spot. And then Wes was selling it to the rest of the house that Evan is excited to go into elimination and take on CT, and he feels like that pushed people into putting Evan in that spot, whereas Evan was just saying, if it so happened that I ended up there, that's what I would do. So now it makes more sense to me, but I still feel like Evan did slightly overreact in that spot, and Evan, I think, agrees as well.
Yeah.
So that's the update on the two of them. We talk about Key West and just their general, being targeted, just like any new rookies have been lately. Brad mentions how it's basically like a ritual. Svetlana calls Tyler a scumbag for having chosen bananas. Big time for the word scumbag.
Big time. Yeah, we should bring it back.
Very much so. I don't know. There's other words. We talk about the DQs, Beth and CT's eliminations with Push Me. Both of them seem to be in a better place than they were, but again, BS.
Yeah, it was funny where Beth is saying, this is, Svetlana versus Beth round 2, where Beth is like, well, obviously everyone was just so terrified of me, and that's why they needed to like throw me in. And Svetlana's like, no, it's because you're fucking annoying. Like, oh, okay, Svetlana, welcome to the room.
It's like, how do you fight with a Beth? With someone that knows that they're just trying to get under your skin, and it's like, do you let them? I guess for the sake of the TV show, yeah, you should. You get into a fight, keep the story going, but in like reality of the situation, like you're not getting anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's what it is you just have to like honestly, maybe that's why Beth is like, I was being bullied. It's like, well, because that's the only way to fight you. It's just to be really mean.
CT doesn't have much else to add. He just, obviously was upset about it at the time. Anissa, others, backing him up that it's just extremely easy to DQ, but we already talked about all of that. Anissa and Robin's fight comes up. Robin is not here in attendance, but Anissa's not too upset about that. She basically says, look, I don't really have to, hold it too close to my heart. I don't really have to, think about it too much because everyone saw what she said and she upset a lot of people, not just me. So that's for her to deal with.
Yep. Which I'm glad because I didn't remember exactly what the reaction was outside of the show. I feel like I wasn't interacting with like the larger challenge fan base as a child, which was probably good. So I was unaware, and like will continue to be unaware as to most of the like public reaction. And so glad to hear that Robin was held responsible. Honestly.
We'll see, how responsible she's held when she just comes back to the show time and time and time again for the next couple of seasons.
Unfortunately, that's going to be a trend.
Yeah, of course. That's the show. Wes and CT are doing fine. They've both apologized to one another. They didn't mean for it to get that nasty.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Oh, well.
Beth and Tina, we already teased this a little bit, but I guess we can get a little bit more into it here, where again, when Tina is going to come out on stage and explain her side of this, Beth has to go off stage because she refuses to be around her. When Tina sits down, I think Susie called her Bruiser.
Sure.
That's the new nickname for Tina. And of course, keep in mind, last Tina appearance for a while. I mean, when her mercenary appearance on Cutthroat happens, that'll be the next time we see her, and then nothing till All Stars. So this is where we leave off of 5 minutes of Tina on stage to talk about how Beth is afraid of her, and that's the end of the story. She says the money wasn't guaranteed to her to win this season, but she had a bucket list that she wanted to accomplish of things on the challenge, and hitting Beth was one of those.
Yeah, it is just like, all right, you know what? I had some things I wanted to check off of my list before I ever stopped doing the challenges. And I guess I hope this was the only thing that was on the list because she's otherwise going to have to wait a really long time to start checking other items off.
Very much so. We're going to talk, of course, a lot about DM, not just DM, but DM and CT. And DM is just so thankful for the show, her castmates, and every bit of support that she got over the course of this season. CT and Nisa are both hyping her up about, when she did take the wig off, and, they were like, oh, you shouldn't have even waited that long. You look so good with or without the wig. You didn't need to worry about it. Her and CT are doing well. They are not in an active relationship. The long distance between the two of them is not something that they've pursued to this point, but they still are just very happy as friends, and they're there for each other and all that stuff.
Yeah. Cute, nice little check-in. I think that if this was like the end of it, I would forget very much about like this being would I forget entirely? I think it would just like diminish like this season being like the CTDM origin because it would have like less of a series long impact, but I think that it would kind of like always remain true. This was big for that specifically. I did like the talk of where we cleared it up, the talk of like, oh, Tina really stole DM's moments. Like, actually, I was really thrilled for any attention to be off of me. I'm extremely self-conscious and don't want everyone just staring at me, even if you're all celebrating me. Like, please look anywhere else. So, thank you.
And then speaking of Tina, she actually, her final comments on the challenge so far here are basically calling CT ugly.
Yep.
She was shocked about this hookup. She says that he wouldn't have been her first choice.
Which I don't know if that's ugly or if it's like, you're not my type of guy.
Maybe.
Like, that doesn't mean looks.
Yeah, I don't know. It was rude, but hey, that's allowed here on a reunion stage. So that's
I
what
also
Tina says.
Susie being like, let's do the showmance segment. You like that? I said showmance instead of romance. It's like, oh, this is like, I think Dr. Will Kirby has literally trademarked the word long before this.
Yes. Hey, early reality TV. We're all just learning as we go. Any of these unseen clips or unseen hookups capture your attention?
Yes. Someone who I think could be retroactively banned from the show entirely gets talked about here.
My God. Oh my God. I was surprised, and like I'm assuming I didn't watch this on Paramount Plus. I'm assuming this is still up on Paramount Plus, that this is just like out there in the world.
Yeah, it doesn't really surprise me that it happened. This feels extremely early 2000s.
Frat boy energy.
Just 0% shocked.
Yeah.
But basically the story is that essentially Kenny got really, really drunk, passed out one night, and people were drawing all over him and doing stuff, and essentially Big Easy teabagged him while he was asleep, and I guess for anyone who does not know the term, dropped his balls on his face just like over and over. So like that's gonna be qualified as like sexual assault now. And so not good, definitely. I don't think that like ultimately like Kenny would have like pressed charges or done anything of the sort, but like in no world is that person allowed to stay on the challenge these days.
No. So that was alarming to just have it casually come up in such a way. Obviously, a bit of a different time, but still crazy to hear them just ever so casually laughing about it. But again, different time. So that happened. We talk about Evan and Jody. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at something that's coming up where they talk about how Evan has hooked up with Jody, but also hooked up with Robin. And it's like, oh, first of all, okay, Jody, anything to that? Like you guys and Mark, you guys and Evan? She's like, no, absolutely not. And then where we move on to Evan being like, that was just a night where like Robin gets so drunk. And honestly, it's one of the biggest regrets of my life. Like, oh my God, if someone ever said that about me, like I'm never showing back up at the challenge ever again.
And do you think it's because of just like of Robin, or do you think it like has anything to do with like the way that Robin's probably being viewed right now for what she said?
I think it definitely has to do with how she's being viewed. I have to think it probably has to do with like how drunk she was and just like probably sloppy that night.
Yeah.
But regardless, it really does like no matter how it comes off, it seems like someone calling me the biggest regret of their life. Goodbye. You'll never see me again.
Yes. Yep. Evan and Jody confirm that nothing happened between the two of them. So sorry, Mel. But that is the update there. Beth gets the turn to call someone ugly, and I think she actually is calling Evan ugly here, even though she says it's no offense. She says no offense. Of course, that means no offense. But she is basically saying that Jody and Robin go after guys that are unavailable and will treat them like shit. So
I did not think this is ugly. I could see Beth doing this for sure, but I took this as like they're going after people who like have girlfriends or have no interest in having girlfriends, and so like do better, find someone who actually wants you rather than just wants to hook up with you for one night and move on to the next cast member.
Yeah. Look, Beth getting some final blows in on her way out, regardless, whatever she meant by all of it. And then was this a Derek and Jody hookup that was also shown?
Yeah, both too drunk to remember it. Like they had to both independently be told that they hooked up, and they both were like, "Oh, okay." I feel like Derek and Jody have made out before.
I mean, they're very close. I feel like we've seen it, before.
I feel like they hooked up on their Road Rule season, if I remember. Like Jody was hooking up with this guy Patrick most of that season, but I feel like if Derek and like I would bet money on Derek and Jody having made out on their real world season already. Also.
Yeah. The only other thing that I have is the clip where CT they were in the Speedos and CT was like, pulling his ass cheeks out, which is like something that literally has happened on the most recent season of the
He's done it
challenge.
multiple times.
All the
like
time.
Of the rewatch and of current watch.
Yes. But Nehemiah's comment here that because CT was pulling his ass out a little bit, that meant he was questioning his sexuality.
Yeah. That does unfortunately not shock me. If people just like I feel like people were constantly on like gay guard of like, whoa, is this gay?
Oh, yeah.
Is this
Yeah,
gay?
yeah.
Is this gay? Like, I don't know.
You're showing your
Anything?
butt and there's other guys here. Oh, yeah, maybe you're thinking something.
Yeah, like it just like God.
Meanwhile,
what a
another
time.
man just like you said, teabagged another man, but we're not
Yep.
mentioning that. So
Here we
the
go.
line of where things, sit in these people's minds.
Mhm.
That's all I got from the reunion. Any other major topics we missed or anything along the way?
No, you had way more than I did from the reunion.
Okay, very good.
I find the reunions to be fine. But overall, like I could skip half the stuff that they include.
I love a reunion. What can I say?
Eh.
Well, let me look really quickly at our confessional count, final count of the season. We have for our 4 finalists, the order that they finish in confessional count is Svetlana first, followed by Wes, followed by Brad, followed by Jody. And then Svetlana, Wes, and Brad are the top 3 of the season overall, followed by Evan, and then DM, and then Jody, then Anissa, CT. So not a ton of surprises, but if you're awarding, the number 1 overall of the season, it is Svetlana. And, down at the bottom, you got Johnny Bananas. Imagine Johnny Bananas being the least confessionals on any season of the challenge. Even this one, crazy.
That is true. Even this one.
But that's where we're at. So that's the confessional update. And I don't know, it might be time to talk about some things.
I want now
wow.
about the Mount Rushmore.
Well, I have bad news for you that it is not yet time to talk about Mount Rushmore. We do the season rankings first. How quickly we forget the order of things after a couple of months off. We have to put this season into our rankings. We have, let me give a really quick reset for all of you who may not remember where we are at. In order from top to bottom right now, we have season 8, The Inferno, season 10, The Inferno 2, season 6, Battle of the Sexes, season 11, The Gauntlet 2, season 12, Fresh Meat, season 3, Challenge 2000, season 1, Road Rules All-Stars, season 5, Battle of the Seasons, season 9, Battle of the Sexes 2, season 2, the just titled Real World Road Rules Challenge, season 4, Extreme Challenge, and then season 7, The Gauntlet. Have you put any thought yet into where the duel is going to fit in here?
I have a pretty exact spot in my mind. Let me start, I guess, for you, top half, bottom half.
Oh, top half for sure. I also have an exact spot, so it'll be fun.
All right. I guess the top half. Okay. Are we towards the top of the top half or towards the middle of the total rankings?
I guess when we're talking the top half, I don't know, it's kind of the middle, but it's leaning towards the top. The way that I got there was I said, okay, definitely top 6. I looked at Fresh Meat and I said, if it's not above Fresh Meat, it's right below Fresh Meat. But then I started climbing, and for me, I climbed above Fresh Meat. I climbed above the Gauntlet 2, and that's where I really started to have conversations of the duel versus Battle of the Sexes. Are you lower?
I am higher on the duel than Battle of the Sexes.
Okay, I am as well. And I'll just say right here and now, that's where I landed. I landed on the duel in 3rd place.
Perfect. I have the duel in 3rd place as well.
Look at that. Coming after last segment of all of this, we're due for like a just solid agreement.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that there will be no fighting moving forward. So I completely agree. I think that both the Inferno and the Inferno 2 are better. They have so much drama, which is ultimately a large part of what we're here for. And I think this season has like a good amount, like a decent. It happens, but it's not overwhelmingly just like crazy, but there is still the love story of CT and DM, which is huge. It's very competitive, which I don't usually care about, but I thought it was like very fun. I think there's a lot of good personalities here. I don't know, and the duel is just like very iconic, so that helps it too.
Yeah, the fights, Tina versus Beth, just to even start off the season, not just like CT and DM, but DM, really just getting into this next stage of her personal story, and taking the wig off multiple times throughout the season that just really
Mhm.
tug at your heartstrings. The alliance that got formed against the drama mafia was unexpectedly fun, at least for me. Some of the eliminations were absolutely insane, including the DQs that were stupid, but still compelling storyline. I mean, the drama with like the Robin and Anissa stuff drags it down because again, that's not fun drama, but not enough to the point where I mean, there's also not fun stuff happening on Battle of the Sexes. It's just a matter of, yeah, for me, it came down to preference, the dual Battle of the Sexes, and I guess we agree. We like the duel better.
Yeah, yeah. I think that like the game format ultimately helps the duel,
Yeah.
whereas Battle of the Sexes, again, half the like those men delivered nothing. Look at the notes. It's like the girls did this, the girls did this, the girls did this, the girls did this. Like it's literally the women are phenomenal on that season, and they can bring it so far up. But the format of the season is just like, okay, you have the least points, go home, and like no eliminations, no nothing, and the duel at least has some more intrigue there. I really like the safety chain of it all. I think is pretty fun as a game mechanic. I don't know, I'm higher on the duel.
Just real quick here. You are the one that has the better upcoming memory of what is going to happen, much more
Mhm.
than I do. Do you see any upcoming seasons cracking into either of these infernos?
It's hard. I think that our enjoyment of like the seasons will differ, I'm sure.
Mhm.
I would
Well, not here.
say it might be a little. I don't think that it will never happen, but
Yeah.
I think that the Inferno top 2 could last a little longer.
Okay. I
We'll see though.
mean, I wasn't even open really. I mean, I would have had the discussion, but I wasn't really open for the duel to go higher than either Inferno. I think they just really stand out.
I agree.
So far. So, all right. Well, we'll see when we have to revisit that topic of conversation, which would be nice to have other seasons contend for the top spot, but not just yet. All right. We're of course now going to get into this season's Mount Rushmore, the 4 players from this season that just stand out more than any others. Before we get
All
into
right.
the all-time men's and women's Mount Rushmore, would you like to begin nominating a
Ooh.
player or?
Nominating a player. Okay. I will say I ultimately had 6 people in like consideration overall.
Okay. I think that's also exactly what I have, but a couple
Ooh.
ones that are a little bit more prominently, on the
All
list
right.
than others.
I'm going to go ahead and nominate someone first for the second season in a row. I think DM is a clear nomination here.
Yeah, no objection whatsoever. Was a big part of the story of this season. First of all, her personal journey, again, as we just talked
Mhm.
about, when she takes off her wig in that second or third episode, whatever it exactly was, you're already just like super locked in on her story. The entire cast rallies around her. And I mean, is it okay if I just mention another name, and if it happens to work for you, we can just talk about them together?
Mhm.
Is CT on your list?
CT's on my list. Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
So, I mean, yeah, how do you not have these two stories tied in together as it very much is on the season? You're really just tracking every step of the way as these two grow to be closer and fonder of each other. And it's the beginning of this story. It's just, it's a lot.
Do you know what's crazy? This is the first time that we've had CT on a Mount Rushmore.
That's not that crazy.
It feels very crazy to me.
This is his third season.
Yeah, that feels even more insane. I almost vomited. Wow, okay. CT on his third season. I am floored. But yeah, no, this I think is very much, as we said, stands out in like would have regardless the story of the beginnings of CT and DM, but only obviously enhanced by future knowledge, knowing that this is huge for the franchise for both of their lives. This is an absolutely pivotal season. I think that it would be crazy for me not to think that the two of them would be here.
Very much so. Sometimes we come into this and like you can really kind of negotiate, but sometimes it's just written for you and it has to be, it is what it is. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that's what it is. DM, of course, both of them have a pretty notable exit. DM in the elimination against the Nisa, hard to forget that one, and CT and his elimination against Brad, as we just spent a lot of time talking about. So even on their own individual stories, just there's a lot for them. So, all right, well, we have 2 more spots to fill.
This is where I get nervous because I don't know exactly if we line up, but I'm curious to see.
I think there's one more name that we'll probably agree on, if I had to guess.
Okay. I think I like know who I want my 4 to be, but we'll see what you think.
Okay.
Is Wes on your list?
That's not the name that I was locked in.
Okay,
on.
then give me the name.
The name that I figured we might both agree on, I think, is Svetlana.
I agree. I thought maybe you were thinking Wes there, but I agree with Svetlana. She was my number 3 as well.
Okay, yeah, I mean she's my clear number 3. The last spot I am not locked in on, but I guess for you it's Wes. So we'll talk about that in a second.
I think so.
We'll get back to that. Svetlana,
okay.
though. What?
I said okay.
Svetlana is the confessional leader of the season. She, even when you think of this in like a historical perspective, is like, everyone is yearning for Svetlana to come back, as we were talking about. And as we went along the season, it really just became clear as to why she is a star in the confessional. She has got this big story, being on the outs and the only one from Key West to make it all the way through the season, and she makes some connections with the vets, obviously specifically with Wes. She gets into it with Beth at the finale, at the reunion. It was a big season for her, and it was her only season.
Yep. Yeah, no, she's really good. As much as I was like unsure of how she has stood the test of time, I didn't really ever doubt her placement on the season. Like, I understand that she is a huge part of it. It's just such a surprise for her to come in as such an underdog and to make it this far, to be the biggest confessionalist of the season, to be like competitively pretty decent, maybe having a few upsets in terms of some wonky outcomes, but still I think Svetlana is pretty clearly deserving of a spot on here for me. But now we have the 4th place on the Mount Rushmore.
So Wes is obviously a candidate for me. It's not like I'm saying no
Sure.
by any means. But I'm curious. You had a couple other names. Can I hear them?
All right. My other names. I have someone who also made it very far. You know what? I'll just say it. Someone who also made it very far. I have Anissa in contention for the first time.
As do I.
Okay. And someone who didn't make it as far, I have Beth.
Okay. We have the exact same names.
Perfect.
So that's great.
This is so much more smooth than last time.
Very much so. So it's just a matter of narrowing it down. Well, let me start. I'll say that when I narrow this down to, one final name here, the first one that does come off the board for me, unfortunately, because I do feel like this would be the first spot to have her on, would be Anissa. I think she falls off.
Okay, I think that's probably fair. I think I would have lost a different name first. And I think you can guess who that is.
Well, yeah.
But I think that Anissa, I'm wondering like how much am I looking for a spot for her? Of like, she is important in challenge history, but like, how do we quantify that? And so I think this is the first time where she really like stands out on a season and is not kind of like the 10th most important person there, where I think that making the top 6 is a very big accomplishment. Congratulations, everyone. But both in the game and also on our Mount Rushmore. But I think that she is involved in like drama, good, bad, and ugly, in alliances, in competitiveness, in like she's in just making it far, in confessionals. Like, she's all over this season, so I definitely have her at least in contention. I would ultimately obviously be willing to think of her in the 5th or 6th slot.
Yeah, I mean, that's just even thinking more about it. I think the way that I was viewing it was kind of like, well, Svetlana kind of covers the spot for both of them. Their story was so intertwined.
Yeah.
Both of them were on the outs. But I mean, Anissa unfortunately has this additional story alongside Robin, but she's also got this stuff going on with DM. It's like, there's a lot of moments throughout the season. We're checking in with Anissa early on of like her and Beth along the way. So you really are tracking a lot of her season. And I guess as we're talking about it, I probably do move her up slightly above Beth, but it's really close. Beth, to talk about Beth here is of course one of the biggest people on this season. She doesn't make it deep, and so that's why it's hard to see her ultimately, I guess, getting this final spot. But even to point out how she is the only one at the reunion who didn't make it into the final 8, for obvious reasons. She was so involved in the drama. The entire first 8 episodes up until her elimination, it's like all about her. It's about Tina punching her. It's about her versus the drama mafia. And I mean, to her credit, she wasn't supposed to go home there. It was the stupid DQ. Otherwise, I don't know if she makes it to the end, but she goes deeper into the season. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like I will very much think of her when I think back on the duel.
Yeah, when I think back on the duel, I'm definitely going to think of all of the remaining 3 people that I'm talking about. And I will say before this rewatch, it was not Anissa for me. I would not have thought of Anissa as much as I would have thought of these other 2. I think that the rewatch has definitely like re-solidified her as like a major portion of this season for me. So that's fun. I'm glad that I have that now for myself at least. But ultimately, I think it's still probably Wes. I feel like he's very involved in like the confessionals, the alliance making, the strategy, the ultimately winning the season. This is a big Wes season, I think, just in terms of him even being like, Evan's an idiot. He's in my plans. Like CT, what a low. Like he's all over it. So I don't know. I think I probably had Wes, but where are you leaning?
When it comes to Wes is obviously one of the winners, which is a pretty big story that does help. I can't help but think about how he was invisible for the first 4 episodes. And when he goes on to have a bigger storyline, it's tied into the Beth storyline, of course, like this group of Beth, Anissa, Nehemiah, and what did I miss Wes's name in there? That all come together, and then eventually that alliance does nothing. It falls apart. Half of them are gone.
I think for Wes, it is probably less about like his big moments as much as it is like him talking about everyone else's. If I'm being honest, like he does get in fights. He fights with CT. He has like a little bit more of that throughout the season. The him and Derek duel, I do think, is particularly memorable in my mind. So I have always remembered that. I don't disagree though that it's not like littered with Wes moments.
And I mean, we're gonna probably we already have to this point and probably will continue to weigh like how much does just ultimately winning and having your name like attached to the season really mean for like you being a part of, I guess, our Mount Rushmore. Like for last season we did ultimately put Duel, but it was also his 4th win, so otherwise he's probably not there in that spot. So I don't know. I think coming into this I might have also had Wes in the 4th spot, but just talking it out more, I kind of don't feel. I feel like both Anissa or Beth make a little bit more sense. Do you feel like locked in with Wes?
I mean, like, yes, because that's how my brain works, but also like in talking about it, like, sure, I see some of the flaws. I just have a hard time where like I obviously have this like long history with having watched this so long ago. And so in my head, there are the people that like when I think of the duel, Wes is one of those names. And so that like
but you just watched it all. So it's like that's what we're
and like but like it's hard for me to separate because like having just watched it all, like he's still my number 4. But like how much of that is like preconceived notion coming into the season,
right? Like, and I back it up here with the receipts, screenshots.
Okay,
what is it?
Calm down.
Timelines,
everything. Yeah, it's hard because I don't think it's as quantifiable. I mean, obviously, we said confessional wise, like he's all over the season. He felt very ever present for me. It's just not like, and I feel like a lot of it is him making himself like part of the season by taking credit for things that probably aren't ultimately him. And so I think the show like is on the side of Wes is one of the big characters of this season, but like action wise, how much is that true?
I think he's probably a pretty solid number 5 for me the more I'm thinking about it. Okay. So it's like, it's not to discredit the fact that like you're saying you think of him as one of the highlights of the season. But we just don't have that 5th spot that we're putting here. I think I would go Anissa or Beth. And I honestly, just to say where I'm at right now, I'm kind of leaning Beth right now. I think I had Beth in mind for most of the
Interesting.
way through this rewatch. And I kind of talked myself out of that as we got to like part 4. But then watching the reunion, where again, it was Beth and everybody who made it deep into the season, and every storyline, every person, Svetlana's fighting with Beth, DM is fighting with Beth, Tina's back out here specifically because of Beth. Otherwise, Tina's not getting invited to the reunion. All roads led back to Beth. And as Brad pointed out, like that's the reason that she's still getting involved, or that she's still getting cast in the show all these years later. We're making fun of her and her age, and how many times are we showing clips of her and Nehemiah along the season? If the two of them lasted longer, then it's going to be DMCT, Nehemiah, and Beth that are the Mount Rushmore of the season. But instead, I really do feel like almost all roads point back to her.
It's interesting because I think I came in having Wes 4, Anissa 5, Beth 6. So my initial reaction is just to push back to the point where I was even like, am I really considering Beth, or am I putting her here as like I honorable mention? Beth, like definitely a tier above everyone else. But like, as you're talking about it, it's convincing. I'm looking at the confessionals. She is like comparable to Anissa, even though she goes home much earlier. It's 12 confessionals less, though Wes has like 26 more or so. So it definitely is a pretty significant margin there.
I like to give my like I very often feel like when a big name, a big player, a big part of a season goes out early in any reality TV competition, I feel like we often forget about them by the time we get to the end, because you're just so focused on who made it to the end game. But
True.
you know, a good story needs a beginning, middle, and an end. And Beth was a big part of the beginning and the middle, and then found her way to the end at the reunion. So
that's true. I'm going to allow you to pick. You know where I stand, but I'm good with
you would put
you
Anissa
decide.
here if it was strictly up to you.
I mean, I would obviously probably put Wes here still, but I'm fine with Wes, then Anissa, then Beth. But I totally see it, and it has become pretty marginal. Like any of the three, I think could deserve a spot.
Well, then how about if you mean what you say, then I will put Beth here for now. But given that we've now opened the door to like in the future possibly changing our mind, as has been done with Casey joining the Fresh Meat Mount Rushmore much after the fact, if any convincing arguments are made, or if any minds are changed by the next time that we get together, we can put an asterisk and change it later.
All right, let's do that.
So CT, DM, Svetlana, and Beth as of right now, with Anissa and Wes having some convincing arguments, and who knows if they pop back in, taking one of the spots instead.
Very possible.
All right. All-time men's and women's Mount Rushmore. I think we usually just start with the men. Right now we have The Miz, Duel, Theo Von, and Derek Kaczynski.
Okay. For me, I think 3 spots are safe, at least.
3 spots are safe. That would be The Miz. That would probably be Derek. And I would guess Darrell.
Yeah, those are the 3 spots for me.
Okay, Theo Von is a spot that you are considering, but who are you considering?
Here's the thing. Theo Von, for me, I didn't want him back in the first place in terms of this spot. And so it is me being like, get Theo Von out of here. Less than I am like, I need to throw someone on here. And so I'm looking at the people that I would consider who, how much was their legacy improved by this season? And I think that it's too early, obviously, for any of the people who went out in the first, like, from Bananas to Eric. I don't think anyone is even in consideration. They're all too new. Derek's obviously already on there. So that really starts leaving us with the final 4 men.
Yeah, I mean, and it's obviously too soon for Evan. There's not any worthwhile case there for me. So if you're looking at, Wes, Brad, CT, I mean, it's a pretty big no for Wes for me. I think he had 2 pretty important seasons, but I'm not ready to say that that's like more of a legacy to this point than Theo Von, who I understand what you're saying about Theo Von, but like the history and like, I don't know if it's the nostalgia, not that I'm like nostalgic for Theo Von, but just like the who got here first, I think does weigh in a little bit more when you're comparing it to someone, especially like a Wes that we know has so much more to come.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's Wes's time. I think that it is early. It feels weird that we have to now like shelf Wes for 6 seasons. But ultimately, like, that was his choice.
I was
He
gonna say,
is
that's
not,
his call.
yeah, not ours. So he made
No.
it for us.
Yeah. And if he ends up here, which the good chance he does, but he'll have to, come on much later than otherwise he probably could have. So the other two names here would be CT and Brad. And I think I kind of want to start with the name that feels like the more likely of the two, CT, because I'm not doing CT here yet in my mind.
Ooh, okay. Well, I feel like I probably would.
I don't. I think the only reason that CT could even be in consideration here at this point is because we know what's to come. If the story ended here for CT, it's 2 seasons where he's present but not like a main character, which is why this is the first
Yeah.
time he ends up on the season's Mount Rushmore. And then the story with DM, again, if it just ended here for the two of them, it's a good love story here, and that's why, like, you think back to, like, what was it, Emily, and what was that man's name, James, I think, right?
This, okay, go ahead.
What part of that was offensive? The fact that I forgot James's name?
No, that I'm worried that you're going to compare this to that.
Just like a one-time showman's, like, if this was all that it was, and obviously we know that that's not, then it's like, okay, that's not enough to, like, find you a spot on the Mount Rushmore. It was back then. James was on the all-time men's Mount Rushmore, but at this point it's not. I feel like CT, of course, has much more to come, and so I don't see it yet.
Yeah, he definitely has much more to come. I think that for CT, it was like, just the name CT carried a lot of weight, I felt like, at this time. For it to be like the fact that him and DM start a relationship and so many people have opinions on it is because there was a legacy to CT. Like, there was a character. There was this, like, preconceived notion of, like, CT, the bad boy, he's MTV, he is the big bad, like, tough guy of the franchise. And so he did come in with some weight to him, even though it had only been 2 seasons, even though he had not been the biggest character on those 2 seasons. He definitely, like, had this reputation, and I think that him coming in here, ultimately doing very well, being a big character here, and also starting it with DM, I think, for me at the time, like, really did solidify CT as a name in this all. Like, I think that it's borderline for me whether CT should be on yet or not. What I'm struggling with is wanting to get rid of Theo.
Mm-hmm. Well, then, can we come back to this in 2 seconds, and let me just ask you, any thoughts on Brad?
I think that Brad is solid. I think that Brad definitely helps his reputation here on this season, does pretty well. I don't think realistically it's close. Honestly, I would have had Brad below Wes.
I probably agree. I think he has, the consistency going for him at this point, where it's like, the fact that I even am open to it is because he's been here so many times. He hasn't gotten his win. He hasn't really had, like, he's had his big moment in the sense of, like, now it's a necklace. That was, a big one there. But it's not even like we're, like, looking back on that this season of, like, remember that, like, it's not his story here this season. He's, again, very consistently there. But not in a way that I feel like I'm being shown him as a main character. He's just another cast member, so it's hard to say that I see him as one of the top 4 male faces of the show at this point in challenge history. So but I definitely hear you on the CT argument. I guess I'm still just weighing of, like, at this point in the show, again, CT had a good season, but there's still 3 pretty heavy enough Theo Von seasons that I'm not sure if the 1 CT big season here overpowers 3 moderately good Theo Von seasons that he's had.
I think was Theo Von only on 3 seasons? That doesn't sound right. Really?
Yes.
For me, I think if you are saying, okay, this was season 13, season
4,
14,
maybe. Sorry.
Season, that's why I thought at least 4. But so season 14, like, okay, Theo Von's gonna show up and CT's gonna show up. Like, I would think way more about CT showing up at this point.
Now I'm confirming my was it 3? Was it 4? But 4 seasons. 4 seasons, 2 wins, 3 finals. Pretty worthwhile run. As he is not back anytime soon, ever again, that is. So are you saying that you would put CT on there right now?
This is so hard.
there's just so many more opportunities to put CT on, and I don't know. I personally, I don't feel like it's right now.
Okay, we can wait.
But I don't want to dominate the whole thing here
No,
today.
We can wait. Like I said, it's just for me, like it's hard because it's not even like Eric is really carrying, because Eric is the one spot who Theo Vaughn took his spot. So it's not even like I'm like, wow, like Eric still needs to be here, but it just feels like, when is Theo Vaughn going?
Yeah, and I feel like it's very soon. Like I really do feel like, he's certainly the most likely to be the next one off. And I wouldn't be surprised if, even knowing some of the seasons that CT has coming up, if that's like, regardless of that, if he still ends up on, soon. But yeah, I don't necessarily see it right now.
That's fine.
All right. Well, then on the women's side, we have Beth, we have Tina, we have Coral, and we have Veronica. Two of those people very much were here this season to defend their spots in Beth and Tina. I know one of them, I can't imagine, just of those two, that I don't see a world that I'm swapping Beth out right now for anyone.
Give me your ranking of the four from most safe to least safe.
Coral is the most safe.
Okay.
I think right now, I think, I know you would say Veronica is next. I would say Beth, and then Veronica, then Tina.
Okay. I was a little worried, honestly, that you would have Tina above Veronica at this point. Okay, because I just was concerned.
I mean, I know like last time I was open to the idea of Tina taking Veronica's spot. I think I really just wanted Tina to get a spot at that point. Just I think her being here for this moment in time, however long it lasts, makes a little bit of sense. Even if she comes off today, I don't know if she's going to or not. But Veronica taking such a long break as she does, I do think is going to hurt her at some point soon. So we'll see when that happens, if at all.
We will see. For me, this is another, I never wanted Tina on.
Hater.
If I could, I would put Tanya back on right now.
Stop it.
I think that's the right four names. I will stand by. I think that Coral, Veronica, Beth, and Tanya are the correct four names. I don't think that Tina was ever a top four name in challenge history. I think that she has outkicked her coverage for already being on one season of the all-time Mount Rushmore. And so we come to a spot where now she is on potentially two. And my problem is, I don't know who to replace her with.
So it's interesting here. I think I might have a name that popped up that I didn't even think of beforehand.
Okay.
So names that did come up for me. Robin, but no. Just because Robin has been around for a bit, but she had a bad season here, was awful. I have no interest in rewarding that.
I don't think it's close. Yeah. I would have Tina above Robin, and I don't even think Tina deserves to be here.
Now, Anissa is another name that I had. She doesn't make it onto this season's Mount Rushmore, but just again, it might be some of the Anissa 40 plus seasons of the show, at this point, that's incepting a little bit to say, because like, is she actually that important compared to any of the rest of these names? If she hasn't even made it onto a regular Mount Rushmore yet, I don't know that I can say that she takes one of these spots.
I don't see it.
What about DM?
For me, it feels weird to put DM and say that it's too early for CT, but DM and finds her spot.
The reason why I would disagree, or why I would say it's not too early for DM, is because these back-to-back seasons of DM have set her up for the audience to care about her for obvious reasons, like almost no other challenger at all on this list. And obviously that's for like very personal and serious reasons, her cancer diagnosis and the way that she has shared that journey with everybody, but just like the emotional impact that has had on the audience and all of her cast members, but more specifically, like your Derricks and CTs, the people that have stuck by her side, just the level of investment that the show currently has in her, just over the past two seasons, feels like it could make a case for one of these top spots. I don't know. I mean, like I'm only, I think, having this discussion in the first place because you're talking about maybe not wanting Tina to be there. And if anybody could take that spot, I think that a case could be made for DM. But I don't know. What do you think?
I do think that if I am looking at like, okay, let's talk about modern day. What does the challenge, like, how do they show their value in their cast members? And I think that they do it, and this is going to sound silly, through the social media profile pictures. And I think that if I am thinking about Tina and DM, which one of them ends up on a social media profile picture, which for the record, I don't think is a good measurement that we should be really using moving forward. I think that they use random ass people on those things sometimes, and it's not like they're keeping Coral, even though Coral is much more relevant than, insert random person whose profile picture they use. Like they'll put Blue Kim before they put Coral these days. So like that's not an actual measurement. But like I think I could see them like DM is who they are marketing right now. This is who they are pushing out to the audience. Like this is who we are valuing much more than Tina.
Okay. For a second, I thought you were making a case for CT as well. So that's why I was listening out for that. But,
I mean, like, yes, but also.
Yeah. I mean, the thing for Tina is that she kind of like punched her spot away. I could kind of argue. She was like, this was all worth it just to punch Beth in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And while she, having her and Beth still here together on this season makes sense. I don't know. I think I might be talking myself into feeling like at this point in time, like with I think DM's about to again not be on next season, but like everything in the world of the challenge right now feels like it centers around DM.
Yeah.
So
I'm okay with it.
I think I would do it.
I also like the that Beth goes ahead and it, like stirs up this big moment. DM has her win. Tina punches herself out of the Mount Rushmore, and DM's win takes the spot.
Can we also just talk about like look at what you just moved DM's name over, right?
Yep.
Look at the last 3 seasons. Beth Tanya, Beth Tina, Beth DM. Beth has fought with all of them.
Yeah. Well, Beth, I mean, to be fair, has fought with pretty much every person on this entire Mount Rushmore. Yeah. So
it's just it's very funny the way that the visual here is for us to look at. I don't know. I really wasn't expecting that. It's not a name that I had considered at this point, but just again, really thinking it through. It really feels like she is that face of the show right now, like you were saying, and like unlike anybody else on this list so far on either side of the board has just become so important to the franchise. So
yeah, I think
it happened like quick, but it happened.
For my own personal record, I think I still would have Tanya above DM also here. I think that Tanya's legacy outweighs DM's at this point. I think that if you had both of them on next season, I would be like, ooh, Tanya's back. More so than I think the average person would be for DM. So I do think that it's worth it to lose Tina, honestly. And I think that DM is like become very important, no doubt. But
well, we'll see what kind of season Tanya has next season when she is joining us again on the cast. Look, she's doing every other right now. It's not my fault. I'm not thinking about her every other season. She's not there.
I'm still thinking about Tanya.
Well,
for better or for worse, I'm still thinking about Tanya.
She could very easily take this spot back next season. So just to recap what we just did, the Mount Rushmore of the Duel is as it sits right now: DM, CT, Svetlana, and Beth. No changes on the men's Mount Rushmore side. It's still The Miz, Darrell, Theo Von, and Derek. And on the women's side, Beth, Coral, and Veronica stick around. Pretty long run for both Coral and Veronica and The Miz. But DM is going to hop on to the women's Mount Rushmore, taking Tina's spot. And we'll see what happens next.
Ooh.
Next season coming up, of course, is the Inferno 3. Who's coming back? We have just going all the way back to the season 4. Susie Meister is back. Timmy Beggy is back for his last season. The aforementioned Tanya. Abram is back for the first time in 4 seasons. Alton, Kara Z, whatever. I never say her name right. Ace is back. Your boy, 2 of your boys, Ace and Timmy. Fresh meat. Danny and Evelyn are both back, and then a lot of names returning from the Duel. We have Paula and Bananas, who are both back. By the way, Johnny Bananas, just to look ahead, he misses a total of 6 flagship seasons between the Duel and today.
Gross.
That is a span of 28 seasons. He misses 6. And 2 of them, he just doesn't qualify for the format for Battle of the Seasons and for Battle for a New Champion.
Yeah, he wanted to be on Battle of the Seasons. He complained a lot about that, so I'm sure we'll talk when we get there.
And even Battle of the Champions, he was supposed to be there, but then didn't end up not on the cast, but as
he pulled himself from that one real quick.
Right. So Paul is back, Bananas is back. Yes, Kenny and Derek and Anissa and CT will all be back on the Inferno 3 from the Duel. So that's that.
I'm so excited. Inferno and Inferno 2 are our top 2 seasons. can Inferno 3 live up to the name, the Inferno?
Yeah, I would love to find out, and we will very soon. We also have some debuts coming from the Real World Denver. That's Tyree, Jen, Davis, and is it Coley?
Coley.
Coley. Yeah, I'm bad at
Yeah,
pronunciations.
this feels to me like in my challenge watching history, and I don't know if this is like how other people delineate it also, but this feels like a shift in the real world where it is no longer like classic, not like classic, but like it's a little bit newer school to me.
I mean, this class of people that are about to become like challenge names. I mean, like, sorry, but Tyree, Jen is going to make a bigger name for herself in my mind. So she sucks. She's going to make a big name for herself here in the challenge world. We also have Rachel, who is the second to last Austin cast member to be popping up here next season.
I'm already thinking about some moments with Rachel.
And Janelle, who is going to be our next entrant from Key West, making her way to the challenge. So that is going to be fun. We'll see how the Inferno goes. I thought there could have been a world we talk about what top moments from the season we want to compare against the top moments from the first 12 seasons. But at this point, that's probably another podcast in the future. So
that is exactly. I think that we will be revisiting the top moments in the future. So I don't want to rob that podcast now.
I think that's a great call, especially we have a lot of segments here at the end. So that's it. That's it for the duel. Thank you all so much. If you enjoyed the ride here alongside us, I cannot wait to get to the Inferno, which is about to, as in real time, Traders is coming out. So we will still be doing this during the Traders, but it will just be once a week, at least until that comes to an end.
That's it. Damn, only once a week. I'm already upset.
Hey, it's better than none a week. That was during the Amazing Race.
Look, I was upset then too.
And we're probably looking at House of Villains sometime soon after that. So it could be once a week for a little bit. But again, in real time, season 42 hasn't even began filming yet. So we might go back to that 2 a week in no time once these other shows come to an end. But anything else today, or are we just about done?
I think we're done.
Okay. Would love to hear from you all. Let us know what you think of our decisions here on the ranking of the season, the Mount Rushmore, any of the Mount Rushmores. Really, really love to hear your feedback as we go along this project. Feel like anybody who is going along for the ride with us is having just as much fun as we are. So that is really good to hear anytime that we do hear that in your ratings, in your reviews, or anything like that. Of course, we are on Patreon, patreon.com/The Free Agents Podcast for all of your weekly bonus episode needs, ad-free over there, and early access to the episodes over there right when we're done recording, for the most part. Sometimes we record a little bit too far in advance, but you get the idea. And that's going to do it. Otherwise, check out Scally on Twitch and Letterboxd.
All of the above.
Usually at B Scally, Brian Scally, something like that.
Oh God, they're literally all different, and I'm the worst brander in the whole world.
That's okay. It's not that hard. There's not that many Brian Scallys out there.
I need a link tree.
Ooh. Linktree.com/Brian Scally. No, that's not a real link. But check out Scally everywhere.
Steal it.
Check me out on the Diary Room podcast, talking all things Big Brother every single week with Amon Adwin, coming to an end on round 1 in real time very, very soon. But we'll be back in no time with kicking off the Inferno 3. So excited to get there. Until next time, take care, and we hope to see you all in the future.